Hi. So, quick disclaimer about my pitch. Its attended audience is the corporate sponsors of City Year, and so they know all about City Year already. They already know this terminology. So, I'm going to say some things you might not understand. So, if you have any questions about that, that's fine. Just ask me. But just know that that's my audience. So, just want to put that out there. And so, without further ado, here's my pitch. Good morning, everybody. My name is Andrew Varia. I am 23, soon to be 24 years old, from Baltimore, Maryland. And today I'm here to tell you about what I believe is a great opportunity for community engagement and sustainable cross-generational leadership. So a little bit about myself. I went to school at Dickinson College, where I graduated in 2011 with a history degree. And I am a recent proud graduate of City Year, Washington, D.C. And so while at City Year, I can pretty comfortably say that I had one of the most unique, different experiences that any of the core members had. And I say this solely because I was fortunate enough to see both the whole school, whole child side that City Year is so famous for, and also the civic engagement team side. So when I started City Year, I started in a first grade classroom on the Horning Family Foundation team at Garfield Elementary School. Go Rams! And like most of the core members, I immediately fell in love with my kids. Like, it's hard not to, especially when you have the little ones, the little tykes that are like first grade. They're so cute, but they're crazy sometimes. I mean, obviously, like, you know, Tyreek would throw a desk, and Keith would throw a punch, and Amari would start crying. And I would obviously want to be there and like do what I can, but I ended up getting in trouble more than they did sometimes because, you know, they would come talk to me, and I wasn't supposed to be talking to them. I was supposed to be making them work, and I'd be like, so tell me what you like, what kind of music you like, or, you know, I when they would play music to transition, you know, I like to dance, so I would like dance with them, and the teacher would kind of give me this like, how old are you look, you know, so like, it was not the best fit for me in a professional environment. I love kids, but I'm much better at like being a kid than I am at like, you know, controlling kids. So City Year picked up on this pretty quick, and by Thanksgiving, I was moved from the first grade classroom to the office with working with the CSX Civic Engagement team, and I spent the rest of my year there. And while I definitely felt more comfortable and adept at the work that the Civic Engagement team did, I still had this desire to give back to the kids, because that's what I came to City Year to do. I came to City Year to work with kids, to help them, you know, grow and mature, and I wasn't able to do that directly anymore. Of course, you know, service projects are great. You know, the beautification of areas is incredibly important, and it creates a better learning environment, but I'm there for one day. I mean, I'm there prepping and stuff, but it happens in one day, and I don't get a chance to see how these kids are newly interacting with their beautified school. I don't get to help them, you know, like learn from the paintings on the walls and who's that? Who's Nelson Mandela? They don't know, because I mean, somebody might explain it to them, but it's just a quote on a wall. And I want to be able to help them, you know, with their development. And so, luckily, the key ingredient that I needed was just around the corner from where I lived. I lived when I was in D.C. in the Trinidad community, which is in Northeast, right off the New York Avenue Metro stop on the Red Line. And very near the intersection of Florida and West Virginia, which is like literally like a block from my house, there's a small venue which is called Capital City Cigar and Tobacco, which is owned by an active duty police officer named Chip, who's a great guy. And it's more commonly known to all its patrons as just the cigar bar. And of course, you know, I've been known to enjoy a stogie here and there. I mean, they're good. You know, you try to look classy. You know, you gotta feel good about yourself somehow. But I didn't really expect myself to become so enamored and become so much more acquainted with cigars as I did. And it wasn't just because of the cigars themselves, because I could just, you know, if I wanted to smoke a cigar, I could just stand outside my house. But it was the people that were there. It was the people who came every week, the ones who I saw there every time I came, who made it feel like a second home to me. I felt like part of that family. And even though I was literally 20 years younger than most of the people there and the only white dude in the entire place, that didn't matter. It was like, oh, it's Youngin, it's Andrew, he's here, like, it was great. So the majority of the people that go there are older black professionals. They're contractors, they're community activists, after-school coordinators, policemen, obviously, lawyers, anybody. All these professionals who have made it. And not only have they made it, but they grew up in the same communities that we serve. There's even a guy there who went to Spingarn High School. Like, how crazy is that? So these people are automatically relatable to me and especially to the kids we serve. And so this starts to get the cogs rolling. And I even had a couple of them, one guy in particular, say to me, hey, like, if you want to have somebody to come in and talk to the kids about, I was there and you can make it if you believe in yourself, etc., like the motivational speaker, then let me know. And I was about totally down to take him up on this, but then I got moved out of schools. And so this offer obviously still sticks. It's just in the back of my mind. And it wasn't until that I got accepted to the Kenya program for Think Impact Innovation Institute and was told to create this idea for like a big idea of something I could do, like social entrepreneurial wise, which is the aim of the program. That I revisited the idea, shall we say, and here's kind of what I've been toying with. So, obviously, community engagement is one of the pillars that City Year stands on, as well as the empowerment of the children that we serve. Thus, I propose that we create, to begin with, a day of workshops that will combine the outlooks of today's children with the wisdom of yesteryears, and hopefully paint a vivid, time-tested portrait of this side of our nation's capital, the side that you know exists but you don't see very often, but the side that we see in City Year, the kids that may seem ignored by society but should not be. So the day, as I envision it, would involve 3 to 4 middle and high schoolers to speak first, and they would be chosen through some kind of essay contest that would be orchestrated in their schools. And the whole point of this would be to give the adults and the other people in attendance a fresh perspective of what the world our children face is like. The one that they may remember from 40 years ago has changed inevitably. And so before they can give us their advice, they should hear what these kids have to say. And of course there'll be questions afterwards. And after them, the speakers from the cigar bar, as well as anybody else, of course we may need to find more women, because the cigar bar is mostly frequented by men, although I'm positive they know great women that would be perfect for this role. I've met many of them there too. So we of course would have them speak for a little bit and like address what the children say as well as give their life stories and their life advice. After that we would have lunch. And lunch is really like a key part of the day too, because you've had the children speak and like the kids in the audience listen to them and feel connected to them, and then the adults speak and the adults feel connected to them and the kids feel connected to them. And so when lunch comes around, it's a chance for all of us to come and just get our food and just talk to everybody. Hopefully there's a little bit more comfort in the room, a little bit more willingness to network and shuffle around and say hi. We'll have some music playing, and music helps everything, obviously. And so after lunch, we would have some representatives from the police force who also work at a cigar bar to come in and speak a little bit about their jobs and kind of, paint a real picture of what they do. But also we want to have like some really fun activities for these kids, like relay races, kickball games, I don't care, anything that will like occupy these kids' like attention and will like make everybody have fun, and most importantly, it'll humanize the students to the police, and it will humanize the police to the students. That's really what we're looking at right here. And so once that's over with, I picture that maybe lasting 3 hours or so. I mean, you got to give them some time to have fun. But at the end, we would award the children's speakers with scholarship materials. I mean, like, obviously willing with whatever we can get, such as vouchers for books or other academic items. Though we don't want the effort to stop there. With enough hard work, I'd also like to see the people from the cigar bar and other community members willing to be perhaps occasional mentors to these children. So, like, there would be, children who would be willing to have a mentor this age, and adults who would be willing to mentor a child that age. Pair them up, have them speak, even if it's just once a month, to have somebody come and check in, an adult come in and check in and say, hey, how you doing? How's your studies coming? Whatever, like, show them that there's adults in this world that care of them besides their parents, if their parents are even there. So that could be a positive role model for them. And another idea we actually had, which is something I've always wanted to do, but always been kind of afraid to ask, is ride-alongs with the police. Now, I think this would be pretty cool, and, like, I always thought it would be a lot of fun, and it would kind of, again, work towards this kind of common understanding about what these police do. They don't just come and crack down on people and whatever. They're there and they're doing their job. Like, so these kids would get a better idea of what it means to be police, what it means to, keep the streets safe, and what it might look like to them when they see familiar scenes from their life. So these, of course, are just some ideas that I have, and with, like, anything else, you only can grow and mature with cooperation and collaboration. And so these are open to discussion. These are, open to, just to grow. Because this is something that, if it's a community-based effort, then the community should even be involved in its creation. So, in closing, I really do honestly believe that this effort is important, because too often we assume that children's voices are insignificant or uneducated or unimportant, especially in the shadow of age and wisdom from time past. But we can't just assume that adults are the only ones that can inspire the masses. In order to encourage these kids to actually feel like they have a hand in their future, to learn and believe in themselves, we need to empower their voices. We need to make them feel that they have worth. And I feel like this is a good first step to do so. Especially if you get to be that child who gets to speak in front of all those people, and when you're done, people are clapping for you, and you feel great. And you feel like whatever you said, you can achieve more. So, I think that the only time when we will actually see the community at large grow in harmony is when we can build that bridge between young and old. Between the times of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all these amazing, huge events that happened when these guys were growing up. And connect it to today. And show them that, while that may not be their story now, it's not that far off. And that there are people in this world that you can look up to, and you can admire, and you can also look up to that person in the mirror. Take Michael Jackson's thing, man in the mirror. Like, you really have to start with you. And so hopefully this is really going to provide enough opportunities for introspection, enough opportunities for mentoring and leadership, that we really will start to see the cogs turning in the community. We really will. And so thus I really do implore you, I ask you, I beg you, please support this initiative in any way you can. For not only will it be a great way for City Year, who would be the backbone of making this happen, of course, will be part of the backbone. Great way for them to bring back the heroes type leadership that was lost 2 years ago, but that everybody said was a great program and that they very much miss. But it would also span space and time to encourage mutual understanding from all those who now live in DC, young and old. So with that said, I thank you for your time, and I'm happy to take any of your questions. Take care.